What's good, everyone? Welcome back to Clearly Sports Unfiltered. And so the Browns free agency has went as it to be expected. Wasn't expecting them to be super big spenders because if you listen to Andrew Berry, they say we would be modest spenders. So far, they have been modest spenders. So they started off last week by going out and trading for offensive tackle Titus Howard in exchange for a fifth round pick, while also giving him a 3 year, $63 million extension. You know, Mixed bag on Titus Howard. Some, some may say he's good, some may say, but he graded out good. He didn't allow a sack last year in the regular season. That didn't much show up in the postseason because it looked like CJ was getting killed on every play in the playoffs. So, you know, but they see potential in him. I mean, he could play both right guard and right tackle, and he also played some left. Versatile, very versatile guy. It'd be very interesting to see, you know, who wins that out. But I'm pretty sure with him and DeWine, but I'm pretty sure he got paid, so he's gonna get half the job, and then DeWine is just gonna be his backup, or DeWine may be the swing tackle. In another move yesterday, the Browns signed former Chargers guard Zion Johnson to a 3 year, $49.5 million deal, with 32 and a half of it being fully guaranteed. Now he really is a mixed bag. A former 2022 first round draft selection by the Chargers. You can tell a lot of the hardball connections going on with Ty because he was with the hardball and he was with a hardball in LA, and you can just listen to him rave about the hardball. So that's just, I find that very interesting. But mixed bag, but he's still a young dude. I think he's 26. He's only 26. Um, he did have a up and down year. I don't know. I'm not a Chargers fan. I got to do a little bit more digging on him. But from the reports, he did finish with the second best run blocking rate of all guards last year, which is a good thing because that's what the Browns need, and that's what they were looking for. Maulers on the offensive line, especially coming from the guards, because, and you can tell with the way they're signing, get to that later, with the Joe situation later. But you can tell that that's what they're going for again, because at the apex of the Browns, when Kevin first started, and we had Nick Chubb, Wyatt, and Joe, they were maulers. The pin and pull game was elite. The down blocking, the getting to the second level, getting to your linebackers, getting to your backers, they were super elite at that. And he's not mixed report on or mixed grades on Zion Johnson from PFF, depending on who's grading or who you ask. Is a totally mixed bag. Some say he's good to okay, or okay to good, and some say he's not that good. But we weren't not going to get the super spectacular free agent, or we weren't going to get like a Trent Big Trent. We weren't going to get like this. We weren't going to have like a mega splash on the offensive line, but you get solid guys, and you trust in George Warha, the new offensive line coach, to get these guys together like you did with Bill Callahan. And you think if you do that and he teaches them the way he does, and if you listen to former offensive linemen talk about him, you listen to Joe Thomas, I think he was Joel's coach. I think he coached Joel towards the end. I'm not too sure. I could be wrong, but you listen to those guys rave about him and talk about his teaching of the offensive line, and hope those teachings go to a young guy like Zion. And another free agent move that the Browns made, they replaced linebacker Devin Bush, who went to the Chicago Bears as expected. I think he played his way out. He outpriced us. His play outpriced us. And Quin- Quincy Williams, I think he's a good pickup. I think it's a good pickup. Now I know he didn't have like the greatest of seasons last year. Yeah, he did, but he played for the Jets. He played for the Jets, so that should tell you a lot. Nobody had spectacular seasons, and they traded almost everybody. Like that's fucking wild. But a former all first team All Pro linebacker, you'll be, potentially getting that. And I trust Jay. I think Jason Tarver is the best position coach in the NFL. That's just me. Some people may disagree, but I think there's a reason that he stayed on the staff. He's one of the best position coaches in the league. If you look at his work with every single linebacker that they got, from JOK, Carson, Mamou Diabite, he's gotten almost the best out of every one of them. And look at his work with Devin Bush. He got Devin Bush paid. Devin Bush was considered a bust, a first round bust. And he got with Jason Tarver. Jason Tarver 2 years later got him paid. So I do trust Jason Tarver. Because I really wanted him as DC, but I'm glad he's still at the role he's at, and still coaching the linebackers, and he got a promotion, which is also a good thing. But as expected, the Cleveland Browns didn't really go out and make too many splash moves. They also did to re-sign Tevin Jenkins, which is a good thing, and also a sign that Joe will be retiring most likely. So they solidified the 3 out of the 5 starters: left guard, right tackle. Just got to go out and find a center and a left tackle, which probably leads me to thinking not either, but one of those 2 first-round picks will be going on at left tackle, more than likely 6, and I think they'll probably be shopping the 24th pick. They'll probably go to Jacksonville. I don't know. I don't think he's worth it, but they'll probably, I can see them going to Jacksonville and offer them their pick back for Brian Thomas Jr. But since we know are trading him, we're not going to give you what you want for him. So I don't think they're going to get a first round pick, but who knows? Also, you could go and trade that first round pick for Marvin Harrison Jr., who I did a video on, who I think the Browns should definitely go after. But it looks like they most of the big spending is done with the Browns, and we didn't get superstars, but if you looked at an offense like Denver, there was no one superstar on that offense, and it still got them to the AFC Championship game. The quarterback got hurt, but the offensive line were one of the better offensive lines in the league, and they did not have not one superstar. Good coaching, good scheme, good players, solid players. Nobody was super elite, and build from the trenches. And they did that. That's what the Browns doing. Build it from the trenches on out. Like I said, who knows what they're gonna do for the receiver position? Hopefully, we'll have something soon as of the recording of this video. Who knows what they'll do with that? But that's just my thoughts on the Cleveland Browns free agency so far. I'd like the pickup so far. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. And again, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. It helps your boy out tremendously, and it's free. It costs you nothing. So show your boy some love. We'll greatly appreciate it. But with that, until next time, peace.